Why's up? It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son. It's your kinfolk, Will Henry with God's Will Fitness. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I had to put a little twist on that, a little spin on that, right? God's Will Fitness. I've been doing the vlogs. I've been doing the training days, giving y'all a little bit more insight on my days. You know, and really that's just the half of it. I only been getting half the days in those vlogs. But I want to give y'all some of my evening footage too, so that's going to be coming soon. But I want to get back to that motivation. I want to get back to that conversation. I want to get back to that relatability, that transparency, that one-on-one with me and the people, right? I had to get back to that because that's the foundation of God's Will Fitness. You know, I feel like that's what I do best. Right, that conversation, that talk, that's what I do best. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you click subscribe below this video and let's keep it rolling. If you know somebody that could use this information, that could use this motivation, you know, share that link and tell them to subscribe as well. But I just want to talk about the Penthouse on Ground Zero. Right, I wrote a blog talking about the penthouse on Ground Zero, meaning like we thinking that the best view is at the top of the skyscraper. We thinking that the best view is where you can see the skyline of the city. But really the best view is at Ground Zero, you know, where you can see the people at, you know, eye to eye, where you could see your goals eye to eye, where you could see the trials and tribulations eye to eye, where you can see the struggles. When you're too high up, you don't appreciate what's down below. You don't appreciate the rock bottom. You don't appreciate, you know, biting the dust. Because what that makes you is that transforms you. What that makes you is a different individual. What that makes you is a beast. What that makes you is untamed. What that makes you is something that people can't create in their mind. They can't conceptualize. You know, you're something that is inconceivable, because it takes a lot to go back to the drawing board. It takes a lot to rise up from rock bottom. It takes a lot to be down in the depths, be down in the slums, right? To be down under the concrete and then rise like a rose through the cracks, right? It takes a lot. The penthouse is at Ground Zero, right? The real fun, the real enjoyable activities, and is when you're amongst your fellow people. Is when you're amongst everybody that's on the same level. When you're amongst the challenges that life brings. When you're amongst those hurdles, right? When you're amongst those demons. There's no security. There's no safety at Ground Zero. You gotta create your own safety. You gotta be your own protection. You gotta provide your own security at Ground Zero, right? They're gonna try to manipulate you. They're gonna try to trick you. They're gonna try to get in your mind. They're gonna try to tell you things. They're gonna try to make you do things that you wouldn't do, but they're gonna make you take those desperate measures. They're gonna use your desperation against you. I come from Ground Zero. I come from the bottom. I'm not talking about a project, baby. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't in them apartments like that, but I was in the trenches, right? I was in the streets, right? I was in the low end area. I was in the hoods, in the ghettos. Waco, Texas. My face is familiar. They know I wasn't with that silver spoon. I didn't have to live in it every day, but you know, at the end of the day, I was still exposed to it. I still experienced life through those lenses. They want the luxury. They want to kick their feet up. They want to bask in their own glory. They want to be safe. But at Ground Zero, there is no safe place. That's what makes it so interesting. That's what makes it so exciting. right? When you've already reached your goals, when you've already built the muscle, when you've already lost the weight, then what do you have to look forward to? Just maintenance, right? Maintenance can get redundant, maintenance can get boring. So sometimes we always have to reflect on ground zero to give us that motivation. We always gotta peel back to where we came from to give us that extra juice. That's why ground zero is so important. And if you're at ground zero right now, appreciate the opportunity, appreciate the gifts that is bringing you, appreciate the character that is developing, because at ground zero, you can become a monster. So when you find that peace of mind, when you find that piece of inspiration to get you going, to rev your motor up, you gotta appreciate it, because it doesn't happen often. You gotta hang on to it, because a lot of us lose grip. You gotta see it through, because some people turn a blind eye to effort, to work ethic. Some people turn a blind eye to hard work, because it's not easy. It can make you sweat, it can make your back hurt, make your legs feel heavy, make your head spin, can make you hungry. Some people not familiar with the hard work. Some people don't want to get in the trenches. Some people don't want to dig up that dirt about themselves. Some people don't want to look at those skeletons in the closet. Some people want to bury their past underneath that rug, but we got to peel back. We gotta go back to ground zero. We gotta go back to the drawing board. We gotta be strategic and look at the strategy. Look at the way that we attacked the offenses. We gotta look at the way we penetrated the defenses. We gotta go back to ground zero. We gotta go back to the love below. We gotta go back to that mindset, right? It's a lot of musical artists that made great music on their first album, right? They did good work on their first album, but once they reached success, they didn't have to worry about struggling anymore. They didn't have to deal with much pain that they dealt with early on. So that same enthusiasm isn't there. That same heartfelt message isn't there, because they're comfortable now. Right, you've developed the routine. You're eating clean, right? You're working out on a consistent basis. People are complimenting you. You're confident. You're looking at the mirror and you're pleased with how you look. But we can't be complacent. We can't be content with that. We can't be too vain, because it makes us vulnerable. We can't be too obnoxious. We can't be too egotistical. Can't be narcissistic, right? Because it only takes one fail swoop and you right back at ground zero. It takes one injury and you're right back at ground zero, right? You don't know what can happen. You don't know what's in store for the future. You can be at ground zero at any time, so your mindset has to always be available to go to that point, right? Your mindset has to always be able to reverse to that time that you went through pain, right? That's how you develop the mentality, because you don't forget. You can't forget where you came from. You can't forget about the battles. You can't forget about the turmoils. You can't forget about having to be war ready when you were supposed to be in a comfort zone. You can't forget about the trial and tribulation. You can't forget about overcoming the obstacles. You gotta remember. And the person that got the mindset of persevering, the person that got the mindset of endless pursuit, relentless pursuit, the person that got the mindset of never giving up, never stopping. Y'all talking about retirement, right? Y'all talking about kicking back, going on vacation. Y'all talking about calling it a day. But the person with the mindset to go beyond that type of relaxation, the person with the mindset to go beyond that pain, he remembered all too well where he came from. She remembered how they talked about her. She remembered how they looked at her. I remember myself. I was on a constant journey to get a six pack. I was on a constant journey to get abs. I never could achieve it. That's why I can't let it go right now. That's why I can't give it up right now, because I remember at a point in time, that's all I wanted. And I never could achieve it because I didn't have the knowledge to do it. And once I gained the knowledge, once I earned the knowledge, I'm gonna give it back. I'm gonna let it go for a bulking season. Y'all tripping. I remember. I can't let it go. I can't forget. I'll never stop thinking about it because that's what got me here now. That's what made me who I am now. The penthouse at ground zero. I got comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? I got comfortable with being unfamiliar with the environment I was in. I got comfortable around the doubters, around the naysayers, the liars, the stealers, you know, the adulterers. I got comfortable around them. I got comfortable around, you know, weakness. I got comfortable around pain because I knew I had to absorb it. I knew I had to take it in. I knew I had to inhale the negativity to breathe positivity into myself. I knew I had to be surrounded by the fakers, by the intruders, by the perpetrators. I knew in order to be authentic, in order to be genuine, I had to see how they was doing it wrong. I had to see how they was being sloppy with business. I had to have a viewpoint at ground zero. I had to be there, right? That's how I learned. I didn't learn by you telling me what to do. I learned by watching the actions of people not doing the right things, right? That's what you see on ground zero. But when you put yourself on that pedestal, when you put yourself on that platform, when you too high up, you can't get eye level with the turmoil. You can't get eye level with the suffering. You can't get eye level with the slums. You can't get eye level with the real people, the real struggle, with people having to face adversity. You can't get eye level with them. You too high up. You want that banner hanging in the rafters. You want to retire your jersey when you ain't even balled out, really. You ain't really did nothing for the franchise. You ain't really won no championships. You won a few games. You might have been an all-star, but you wasn't a perennial all-star. You might have looked good. You might got some highlights. But you also got some posterizations, right? You also got some people that crossed you over. You think you made it, right? You think life is good, right? Because it can be gone. All that good stuff can be gone at any second. You gotta be on edge. You gotta think about the past. You gotta remember. I remember seeing that pain on my mama's face. I remember seeing that hurt on my wife's face. I remember the disappointments. I remember being upset. I remember being looked over. I remember people not believing in me. I remember the jobs that they passed up on me, right? I remember the promotions that they didn't give me. I remember not feeling worthy. I remember feeling like I deserved it, but wasn't given the opportunity. I wasn't given the chance. I remember. I haven't forgotten. I won't forget. I use it as fuel. Every time they told me no, I use it as fuel. Every time they told you you can't, you gotta use it as fuel. Every time you face adversity and overcome it, remember it. Don't forget. God's will.